Guys, what's up? Sticker here, back again with another video, and today I'm going to analyze a game on lichess I played. And first I'm going to analyze it without an engine and without the opening database, and then I'll go on to the engine and the opening database. So my opponent started off with e4, and I decided to play c5. He played, at this point, a very strange move, which is a3, which later I learned is called the Mengarini variation, which is a strange variation where instead of playing, at least to my knowledge, instead of playing b4 right away, which is the wing gambit, you prepare it with a3. And I don't think it's very good. So I just developed, because I've never seen this before. I knew how to play against the wing gambit, but not against this. b4, I took, which, is what I thought was the best, as it just wins a pawn, because then I can take with my knight. Takes, takes, and takes. I took with my knight. d4, he takes control of the center, and I have pretty misplaced knight, so he has some compensation, and I played d5 here, looking to strike at the center. He played c3, which kicks away my knight, and holds the center down in case I could take here, because if he played a move like takes here, well then I take with the knight, and then I'm better. And if he played a move like knight c3, well then I could take, and play something like here. Which if he moves his knight, there's trouble, and then I can play rook c8, and there's just a lot of trouble. And here he'd have to play c3 or something like that. Or no, he can't. He has to protect, like bishop d3, which gives up the bishop pair. And so, he played c3, knight c6, e takes d6, I mean d5, that makes sense. He also could play knight d2, but I didn't like knight d2 because takes and bishop f5. This is generally a problem, and if bishop here, well then I can play something like e6, or I could take and play knight f6. I have lots of options. So he takes, queen takes, and at first I was expecting c4, but then I realized I just take here. So really, I'm having white has a really nice position. Can't move his bishop. My queen is nicely controlling the center. I have easy development. So I like black here. But he played knight a3, which I was so confused at. And I decided I don't really want to play e6 right away because that locks in my bishop. So I decided instead I would play bishop f5. But also I didn't play e6 because I thought that if he plays knight b5 and I play like queen d7, bishop f5, I have no response to this pressure on the square. I also thought briefly about playing a6, but I thought he can still play knight b5 because if I take, he'll take here. So I play bishop f5, which controls this diagonal. Knight b5, looking to go into the c7, rook c8, and here I took a little while for rook c8 because I didn't really want to give up my pawn on a7. But it turns out that, yeah, definitely rook c8 is the best move, I think, as it did work out in the game. But the problem with rook c8 is that it allows him to play c4 now because his knight helps control this, but c4 is not the best move, as I think that queen e5 has a very strong response. Because now his bishop is stuck here, and I could have actually at this point taken here, and he plays here, and queen g6, which I think might have been okay, but I like the way I did it better with a6. And here I think I don't really like his move, because I would have probably gone for something like this, knight c3, takes, and like, oh yeah, he has trouble here, so maybe not. Yeah, that's why he can't play knight c3. Or actually, maybe knight c3 takes, and then knight f3. Something like this, which should result in like, oh no, the knight's hanging. Oh yeah, this is kind of tough, I guess. I'll check it with the engine. But he played f3, which I really dislike because it allows queen g6. And some people might say, oh, he has g3, but g3 just severely weakens his king side, and he probably should play king f1 here, honestly. Oh no, he can't play king f1 because his knight's hanging. Yeah, so he has to play g3. And so his whole idea with f3 was to lose my queen's control of this square. So I play a move that you don't really want to play, but you kind of have to if you want to keep the advantage. And I play queen f6, which attacks this pawn and pins it to the rook, so he can't be playing any sort of d5 ideas, which he might have been able to do earlier. And so now he plays g4, which attacks my bishop, and I could move my bishop away and just win this pawn, but I saw that actually g4 was worse than if he just played something like knight c3. I thought knight c3 was better than if he played g4. g4, I take his knight, he takes back, and I win one pawn, and then he makes this move, and I win another pawn. So in the other variation, I would have just won one pawn, but in this variation, I won two pawns. And in exchange for that, he has a doubled f pawn. He is slightly worse on development, and his only real advantage here is the open files here, and the fact that my king side is undeveloped and my king is not castled. So he took on c4, which I think is a reasonable move, freeing up e2 for the knight, and I play knight f6, trying to develop. Knight e2, queen e5, I pin this knight, and right now I'm also looking forward to taking this pawn. Bishop f4, and I just took on f5 because this looks like a free pawn. And now he has real big advantage on development, really nice files, and it's kind of getting scary right now because now I would say he does have some real compensation. Not like great compensation for three whole pawns, but like it's kind of scary. So knight g3, and so for a few seconds I thought that I could take this, and then after like a few seconds more I realized, oh, he has captures here, so I played eventually the best move, which is queen c5, and he played rook c1, eyeing myself with the queen, and I really dislike this rook c1 move because it allows me to go into a favorable endgame, and so rook c1 I feel like is a huge mistake, and I don't know what else you can really do here. Yeah, I don't really see a move. Rook c1 looks natural. Maybe rook b8 is what I would play. Rook b1. But we'll check that over with the engine. Rook c1 is just a big mistake. And I'll give you a few seconds to realize why. And I'll give you actually, I won't give you a few seconds. I'll give you a few candidate moves. Queen a5, queen b4, or queen a7. Which one is the best move? Okay. So what I ended up thinking was the best move was queen b4. And at first you might be confused because after takes, doesn't he have bishop f7 and takes here? And actually that's exactly what ended up happening. Takes, check, and now I probably have to play king d7, but no, I took. And what's the trick here? He took, he takes, he's like, okay, I'm now not that much worse, but then knight d6 comes. And so, now I win the bishop. He played king to d2, and I took the bishop. So now I am up two pawns, and I have a knight and a bishop for the rook, but I have to get these pieces active. And he plays rook b1, which is a great move because I cannot protect this pawn. And so I play g6, because this is my only way to develop. Rook takes b7, bishop g7. And here I feel like he made a mistake. I would have probably played like rook c8, and after like knight e5, or which knight goes to e5? Probably this one, actually. Knight e5 in here. You can try to mark... Oh, you can't really try to march your king up. It's kind of a lock. Then maybe play something like something else. But I think that trading the rooks really made it easy for me. So takes. He played king e3, trying to activate his king, and here we had a little bit of dancing, which I think might have not been the best. I played bishop g7 because it's just a nice improving move. Maybe I can go to h3 now, but I wanted my bishop protected by my king, and there wasn't really anything else I could do. I could play h6, which would have been reasonable as well, but I played bishop g7, king e5, and here I had a plan. I wanted to play here, and he can't play here because knight d5 check. He moves his king, and I pick up this, and if he plays here, then again, here, which again prevents the knight from coming here, he gets knight d5 check, and I pick up the rook. And so he played king f4, and here I played knight c4, looking to go to d3. He brought his rook out of there in advance of me playing this move, and I still played this move. And my idea was that I wanted to play king e6 and knight e5, but then I just realized this goes here. So I guess I want to play king e6, check here, and he can't go anywhere here. And so that is probably pretty good for me. Yeah. So if he plays a move like h3, then I could play king e6. Let's say he plays... Oh, that would be a really bad move. Let's say he plays a useless move, and then I could play check. And his king is trapped from this side, so he has to go here or here. And also his rook is hanging. So he played 94, which is a huge mistake again. Not a huge mistake, but a pretty large mistake, because I get to trade off this bad knight, which was blocking my bishop, for that reasonable piece he takes with his f-pawn. And I play bishop d4, and here he ends up blundering the game, which is unfortunate for him. He played king f3, completely ignoring that his rook was attacked, and I took and he resigned. But here there's not actually much else he can do. Let's say he plays... what could he play? Rook a5, knight here, rook here, then comes check. The whole idea is just to prevent e5. Then he moves his king, let's say here, and now here, and I have a really solid fortress against this pawn, and next I'm just going to start pushing these pawns. And so that was the game. And so now I'm going to go briefly over it with the engine and discuss anywhere where I might have gone wrong. So let's go into this position. This has been played around 90 times, 100 times around. This a3 move, let's just see. a3 has been played 400 times. Wow. And here g6 is the most common move. And then knight c6 and then e6. So maybe I should play g6 because g6 has a 48% win rate. But d5 has the largest win rate with 58%. But I played knight c3, which is the second most common move. b4, takes. And here this position has been found around 40 times. And yeah, d4 is the most common. d5 is the most common. c3 is the most common. Has knight c3 been played before? No. And yeah, I was right about why knight c3 was wrong. Or no, here it says queen x d4. Oh yeah. And then takes here. I missed that. And he has to answer that because the rook's hanging. c3. Again, the main move. Excuse me. Knight c6. Again, the main move. And the reason where I'm going over these moves pretty fast is because they're all pretty natural. If you look at all these moves, e4, natural, c5. This stuff he's doing here is pretty unnatural. But then I win a pawn, natural. He controls the center for his pawn. That's pretty natural. I play d5. I strike in the center because I need to get my pieces out because his pieces are open. See his pieces. And I also need to reduce his center, so this makes a lot of sense. He plays c3, which attacks my knight and controls his center again. And I move my knight back. That makes sense. Takes. This is the first move that may not make sense. Maybe you should develop, but it's the main move again. I'm sure there's something wrong with this. And queen d5, yeah, the same stuff happens. And your knight is not where it should be. But he played exd. I took knight a3, yeah. Again, now he's just playing unnatural moves, and I'm just going to punish him for it. Knight f a3, again, another natural move, just developing. Knight b5, he threatens knight c7, which would fork my king and queen. Rook c8, you just defend that, and you don't really care about this pawn, because if he takes this pawn, you take it, rook takes, and you just have a lot of development. You can do a lot of things, like play e5 maybe. Magnus Carlsen actually had a game in this, which is interesting. And White won that game, which is surprising. But White was Magnus Carlsen, so Can't expect any less. But c4 is, yeah, engine says definitely a mistake because of queen e4. Bishop b2 and a6, and here, again, the engine likes what I said, actually, knight c3, which, queen b3, oh yeah, you move your queen, which I thought was nice. f3, he attacks my queen, I have to move it, I give a check. He plays g3, and I reposition it so that it is still attacking this pawn. g4, attacking my bishop, but I can actually give him a doubled pawn. See, now he has a doubled pawn, and I win a pawn too. And in case you're wondering why he doesn't actually take it, he doesn't take it because I would have knight takes. So if he takes with this, oh no, I don't have knight takes. Queen a4, bishop b2 is tied. Doesn't that give me a free bishop? Oh no, he has that, right. Okay, so, oh yeah, maybe I don't have knight takes. So I guess he doesn't. Don't know why he didn't play bishop c takes c4. I guess, yeah, I just take here. And he doesn't really want to exchange that much. But he played queen a4, I took, and now he took, which was, I guess, basically a transposition to if he played queen a4 after I take here. I played knight f6, developing, knight e2, queen e5, bishop f4. And yeah, the engine actually does not like any three of these moves. But if you play here, the idea is that if he takes now, your rook is defended. It's a little slow. Here's just a blunder, because now he has this. And now white is better. And yeah, here is in my opinion the best move because you do all this and you end up with a winning endgame, which is what ended up happening. And the engine likes some other stuff, but this simplifies the game to a form where I can more easily win this. Like, this is a pretty easily winning endgame. And yeah, the rest of this is just game. Notice that, oh, what? I missed mate in one? That's so crazy. Bishop h6 was mate in one after rook a7. Wow. I missed mate in one. But the main thing to know about this sort of endgame is basically what you're going to try to do is you're going to try to get your pieces as active as possible, and black can't really do anything about it, and then you're going to try to restrict the movement of his minor piece. As you can see, this controls both of these squares, and this is his only way to get in, which in that case I might have e5, and I can also play this in the meantime. So his minor piece is restricted, and you're going to try to get your king out, so I play knight d6, and now here he played knight e4 because he saw nothing better to do, and then he blundered. So that's the end of today's video, guys. If you liked the video, please remember to leave a like and subscribe, and goodbye!